When you think Detroit Red Wings, one name electrifies the mind: Steve Yzerman. For 22 unforgettable seasons, number 19 wore only one jersey, the iconic Red Wings uniform. But what Yzerman did in that jersey, that changed hockey forever. And folks, we've just crossed 500 subscribers. What an incredible journey with you all. The road to 1,000 might look steep, but together, we can make it happen. This channel is a one-person passion project, and your support fuels every video. If you're loving our hockey stories, smash that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Let's grow this hockey community together. Picture this: a young Yzerman, branded too soft by critics, doubted by many who said he couldn't lead, but instead of crumbling, he evolved into something extraordinary. The slick playmaker transformed into a warrior on ice, one of the most dominant two-way forces hockey has ever witnessed. Under his leadership, Detroit didn't just win, they built an empire, claiming 3 Stanley Cups, while Stevie Y added Olympic gold to his legacy. This wasn't just about trophies, it was about proving that true leadership means having the guts to reinvent yourself when everyone says you can't. Get ready for an incredible journey as we relive Yzerman's most epic years. Watch how this pure scorer became the complete package that every young player dreams of being. See how one man's evolution turned the struggling Red Wings into an unstoppable force, creating a dynasty that rewrote what leadership in hockey means. This is more than a story. It's a blueprint for greatness that still inspires today. Picture Detroit, 1983, a once proud hockey city, desperate for hope. Enter Steve Yzerman, the Red Wings' 4th overall pick, and their chance at salvation. But this wasn't a fairy tale with instant success. This was Detroit in its darkest hockey hours, where playoff dreams had turned to dust. The 18-year-old Yzerman wasn't just stepping into an NHL jersey, he was walking into a franchise fighting for its soul. From his first stride on Detroit ice, Yzerman showed why scouts had been buzzing about him. His rookie campaign, a jaw-dropping 87 points. But it was his sophomore season that really set Motor City on fire. 39 goals, shattering the franchise's rookie record. Every time Yzerman touched the puck, magic happened. His hands were pure silk, his vision supernatural. The NHL had to take notice. This kid wasn't just good, he was something special. But here's where it gets real. While Yzerman was lighting up scoreboards, the Red Wings were still taking beatings night after night. Think about it, one of the most electric young talents in hockey, surrounded by a team that couldn't keep up. Lesser players might have checked out, demanded trades, or lost their fire. Not Stevie. Even as losses piled up, he kept pushing, kept fighting, kept believing. This wasn't just about talent anymore. This was about heart. Then came the game changer, Scotty Bowman. The legendary coach rolled into Detroit with a system that would make defense-first purists weep with joy. For Yzerman, this was like telling a painter to switch hands. Everything he knew about hockey was about to be challenged. Bowman wasn't interested in flashy plays or highlight reel goals. He wanted something more: complete hockey. The tension was real. Hockey insiders started whispering. Could Yzerman adapt? Would Detroit actually trade their young superstar? The rumors weren't just smoke, they were a 5-alarm fire. Yzerman stood at a crossroads that would define not just his career, but the entire future of Red Wings hockey. What happened next is why we're still talking about Yzerman today. Instead of fighting the change, he embraced it. Watch any footage of Yzerman before and after Bowman. It's like watching 2 different players. The pure scorer transformed into a complete warrior. Back-checking became as natural as scoring. Physical play? Bring it on. Defense? Now that was his pride and joy. This wasn't just a player adapting. This was the birth of a legend. Yzerman's evolution from offensive dynamo to two-way force didn't just change his game, it laid the foundation for one of hockey's greatest dynasties. The Red Wings were about to become unstoppable, and it all started with their captain's willingness to transform his entire approach to the game. When Steve Yzerman decided to reinvent himself under Scotty Bowman, he didn't just tweak his game, he torched the playbook and started fresh. Gone were the days of being just a scoring sensation. Now, he was hunting down loose pucks in the defensive zone, throwing his body in front of blistering shots, and terrorizing opponents' top lines. But here's the magic. He didn't lose that scoring touch. Instead, Stevie Y became hockey's equivalent of a Swiss Army knife, dangerous everywhere, every second of every shift. Remember those eye-popping scoring stats he used to chase? Yzerman did something almost unheard of in professional sports. He deliberately turned down chances to pad his numbers. While other stars were obsessing over their stats, the captain was in the trenches, doing the unglamorous work that turns good teams into champions. Detroit noticed, the league noticed. This wasn't just leadership, this was a masterclass in putting team above self. Watch any Red Wings game from this era, and you'll see Yzerman's fingerprints everywhere. One shift, he's scoring a clutch goal that brings the Joe to its feet. The next, he's killing penalties like a fourth-line grinder. but his biggest impact might have been embracing the Russian five Fedorov, Kozlov, Larionov, and Fetisov. While some stars might have felt threatened by this influx of European talent, Yzerman saw what many missed: the future of hockey. Under his leadership, this blend of North American grit and Russian artistry became Detroit's secret weapon. But let's talk playoff heartbreak, because that's where this story gets real. Early in Yzerman's career, the Red Wings were playoff punching bags. Year after year, they'd show flashes of brilliance only to crash out when it mattered most. Lesser leaders might have cracked, might have demanded a trade to a contender, not Yzerman. Each playoff exit just added fuel to his fire. The rivalry with Colorado, that wasn't just hockey. That was war on ice. When Claude Lemieux targeted Yzerman in the '96 Western Conference Finals, leaving him with a busted knee and crushed dreams, it became personal. The hit didn't just end Detroit's season, it lit a fuse that would explode into one of hockey's most intense rivalries. Every Red Wings fan remembers 1997, when Detroit didn't just beat Colorado, they demolished them in a 4-game sweep that felt like sweet revenge served ice cold. Through all the battles with Dallas and Colorado, through every bone-crushing hit and heartbreaking loss, Yzerman kept building. He wasn't just leading a hockey team, he was forging a dynasty. In the locker room, on the bench during practices, Yzerman's message never wavered: championship or bust. By 1997, something special was brewing in Detroit. All those playoff scars, all those lessons learned the hard way, they were about to pay off in a way that would change hockey history forever. The captain wasn't just chasing a cup anymore, he was about to grab the NHL by the throat and make it remember his name. The late 90s weren't just the peak of Red Wings hockey, they were the moment Steve Yzerman became immortal. 1997, after 42 years of drought, Detroit was thirsty for the cup. Yzerman didn't just lead them there, he dragged them across the finish line. Watch those finals against Philadelphia, 4 straight wins, the captain putting up 24 points in 19 playoff games, including a goal that made the Joe erupt. This wasn't just a championship, this was the Detroit soul coming alive again. But if you thought, 97 was special, 1998 was like watching hockey poetry. With Chris Chelios and Larry Murphy joining the crew, Detroit became unstoppable. Picture Yzerman battling through injuries that would keep most players in the press box, still racking up 18 points in 22 games. When they steamrolled Washington for back-to-back cups, it wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. The dynasty was real. Then came 2002, when Yzerman wrote his own chapter in hockey's book of legends. His knee, barely holding together. His skating, more guts than grace. But watching him battle Carolina in those finals was like watching a warrior from ancient times. One good leg, pure heart, still making plays that left fans speechless. That 4-1 series win, with Yzerman grinding out 15 points in 23 games, that wasn't just hockey. That was pure will to win. Let these numbers sink in. 22 seasons, all in the winged wheel. 1,755 points, 692 goals, 1,063 assists. But stats don't tell you about the blood spilled, the bones broken, the countless nights when Yzerman dragged himself onto the ice because his team needed him. He didn't just play for Detroit, he became Detroit. Tough, resilient, unstoppable. Watch today's NHL captains, guys like Zetterberg and Larkin, and you'll see Yzerman DNA in how they lead. That Olympic gold with Team Canada in 2002, just another jewel in a crown already heavy with glory. But ask anyone who played with him, against him, or cheered for him. Yzerman wasn't great because of what he won. He was great because of how he won, with class, courage, and an unbending will that turned a struggling franchise into hockey royalty. Every time you see the winged wheel today, every time you hear the roar in Little Caesars Arena, you're hearing echoes of what Stevie Y built. Not just championships, but a legacy that will outlive us all. Steve Yzerman didn't just wear the C, he redefined what it meant to be a captain in the NHL. Think about it, a pure scoring talent who willingly transformed his entire game, sacrificing personal glory to become something greater. That's not just leadership, that's legendary stuff. The transformation was mind-blowing. Watch early Yzerman footage, then fast forward to the championship years. Same player, completely different beast. While still lighting up score sheets, he was now shutting down top lines, killing penalties, doing the dirty work that champions are made of. He showed the hockey world that true greatness isn't about how many goals you score, it's about what you're willing to sacrifice for the team. Look around the NHL today and you'll see Yzerman blueprint everywhere. Every captain who puts team above self, every star who backchecks like a fourth liner, they're all following the path he blazed. And family, what an incredible journey this has been. If this story of leadership and transformation fired you up, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Help us keep these legendary hockey stories alive. Your support means everything, and together we're building something special. Can't wait to bring you more amazing stories from hockey history. Until next time, keep your stick on the ice.